Hello, welcome to part 3 of this 5-part series. I hope you've got something from part 1 and part 2. If you haven't listened or watched, do go back because they're right there. But let's get into today. I have another 5 things that you can play around with that will hopefully move you from feeling stuck into some kind of action or motion or momentum. The next thing I want to talk about is finding stories of adversity. I know that I can really get in my head sometimes, and I tell myself all kinds of stories to the point where they're just not useful. I tell myself how tired I am, how little time that I have, how I don't know what to do, how I don't, all of the stuff. And I really have to break that and go back to a point of gratitude and also lean on some powerful stories, people, situations that can remind me that what I want is possible for me too. And so I urge you to find stories of adversity, because not only is somebody else's story really important and really helpful to kind of borrow from and to be able to track and see it from their perspective, it also it basically calls you out and it reminds you of what you're not doing or what you could be doing. And it really helps you to put yourself in a place of possibility, of openness, of curiosity, of being willing to flip things around. So go and have a look at people that inspire you. If there's a film actor or an author or, I don't know, a chef, whatever it might be a pal of yours. Type their name into YouTube or the podcast app. They've probably done a podcast or an interview or a video, and delve deeper into their story and ask questions and really notice what they are saying and look at ways that you can bring some of that wisdom, some of that fight, some of that power, some of that success into your own life. Number 2, don't make this about you. And that's really hard sometimes because it's all about you. Like, this is your thing, your business, your brand, you're doing the do probably for most of the time. But don't make it about you. Make it about the impact that you want to create. Make it about the next generation. Make it about maybe the person that you were at school, going back to you being, 10, 11 years old, talking to the careers advisor and them not really understanding what you wanted to do. Imagine yourself in that situation. Imagine somebody like you in school right now. How could you be that person for them, who could show them a way, who could inspire them, who could motivate them, who could tell them that it's okay? And so I urge you, when you're doing this exercise of not making it about you, to be very patient with yourself, very kind with yourself, and be willing to work through the process. Number 3, this is one that I come back to all the time. Because if I'm stuck, if I'm confused, if I don't know the answers, I can stay in that negative headspace of like, I don't know, it's not happening quick enough, like, why me? All of that negativity. Or I can flip it around and invite myself to look at alternatives. I invite myself to consider a different way. And so I ask myself, how could I make this easier? If I could choose how I move forward with this, what would I do? If nothing was standing in my way, what would I do next? If I could do something that felt really like me, what would that look and feel like? And as soon as you start to ask those open questions without restrictions, without a sense of, oh, well, it wouldn't work, or I couldn't do that, or I wouldn't, or I shouldn't, instead of asking yourself with no boundaries in place, going to that end point of the ideal, once you've got that, you can start to tweak it. And it's about refinement and working through that. And I think so often we're stuck because the internet's so noisy, because people around us are so noisy, or books, or we're constantly overstimulated, it's really good to take a step back sometimes and turn off those notifications, ignore what other people say, and actually listen to our own intuition and say, what is it that I need? How could I do this? What's this version of this? It's a really good one. Number 4, this is more of a business one, but I get my clients to do this all of the time. I want you to go on your website and maybe your social media, and I want you to read out your website aloud to yourself. Or you can go to your social media bio and read that out. And I want you to see and feel what happens in your body. Because there are some times when I've done this exercise and I've gone into something on my website and gone, God, that just doesn't that just doesn't feel good, or that feels a bit cringe, or that feels a bit outdated, or like I really should have included something else here and I haven't, and there's a mistake and there's an embarrassment, there's a shame, like maybe I should add something else, I need to tighten up a boundary, whatever it is. And once you know, sometimes that sense of, well, no wonder I haven't got any clients, or no wonder that thing isn't selling because the bloody button doesn't work, or it doesn't make any sense, or I need to look at a different way that I can say that because it's not clear. So go and notice what you're doing it. And this is why I'm saying reading it out loud. When you read something aloud, when you get it on its feet, it makes the whole experience very, very real. Sometimes to the point of going, oh gosh, I just can't do this anymore. Please try and work through that. Pain sounds extreme, but that process. Because if you can get to the other side of that without shame, without judgment, and speaking kindly to yourself, it's just going to make everything so much easier. Number 5, who are you talking to and how could you have more conversations? I think with this market, with the algorithm, with all of the things that are flying around, like, is anyone ever going to pay for coaching again? Or like the bills are going up, or all of these sorts of things. I know when I'm ready for more clients, I need to have more conversations. And I need to be really clear about who I'm talking to. And it's really basic. It's as basic as that. Who am I talking to and what am I talking about? Because I know that I am that person at a wedding. You can put me next to your granny, you can put me next to your drunk uncle, you can put me next to your niece or your nephew who wants to make paper aeroplanes out of the napkins at the dinner table. I will thrive in most situations because I can communicate with people. However, there are some topics of conversation that obviously I'm more knowledgeable about and maybe more interested in, I know more about, I can contribute in some way. And there are some that I'm like, I'm really not the best person for this. And I have no shame in that. Like sometimes my children will ask me questions and I will say, really don't know the answer. Or I need to double check this, like let's Google it. Let's Google it together. And they enjoy that process too. So take that analogy essentially and make sure that you are talking to the people that you need to be talking to about the stuff that's going to really allow you to excel and feel good. And that's not to say that you're closed off to every conversation. No, this is about learning and things like that. But when I'm coaching or in working capacity, when I'm getting paid for something, I want to be good at my job. I want to be one of the best. So I really have to make sure that I'm not diluting myself and I'm not diluting that process. Thank you as always. I think that's 5. Is that 5? I haven't labeled them. Anyway, if that's not 5, I will add it on to tomorrow's for part 5 and part 4 rather. If you're interested in having some support, some guidance, if you want some coaching, you want to elevate your personal brand, do get in touch. My email, hello@nikkiraby.com. I also have some pick and mix sessions, which are an hour or 2 hours long, or I have programs for 3 and 6 months. All of them include one-on-one stuff, and I'd love to hear from you. You can book in a free 15-minute session as well. That's via my website. But for now, I will say cheerio and cheerio. I haven't really said that for a long time. I'll say cheerio, and I'll see you tomorrow.